Yo, what up, kamikaze Soundwaves? I just saw A Quiet Place. I saw it last night. I've had some time to reflect on it a couple hours, and I've been thinking about it all day. And I thought it was pretty ass. Now, when I say it's a quiet place, it's definitely a quiet place. I think there's so many inconsistencies in this movie, so much dumb shit. And it's not really scary or frightening in any way, shape, or form. Really, this movie seems to me like Signs. Fucking Shyamalan type horror bullshit. I know everybody, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people like Signs, and I get it, but this whole movie to me had this like Signs feel, where there's just these monsters. I just feel like they had so many weaknesses and vulnerable points, and they don't capitalize on them, and it's like, how is the government not able to tackle these monsters? I mean, the thing is, like, there's spoilers throughout this video, so if you haven't seen it, stop this shit right now and go to the red box and waste your fucking hour and a half. Maybe you'll like it. A lot of people do. I didn't, but here we go. The fucking monsters, they don't have eyes. All they can do is hear. The government hasn't figured out how to fucking deal with these monsters yet. They move on sound. The fucking kid in the movie figures out how to deal with the monsters, but not fucking top NASA fucking agents that fucking build rockets that go past Jupiter and fucking shit. They're not smart enough how to deal with these monsters. Okay, I know I'm skipping a little bit ahead, but I've just got to clarify, that was one of my biggest problems with this movie. These monsters are kind of fucking stupid. They react off sound. Why not combat them with sound? That is kind of how they defeat the monsters in the end. And I'm just thinking to myself, no one thought to do this before? Oh, hey, they obviously move off sound. Hey, we have cannons that shoot sound. Those things actually exist. Let's not use something like that. Nope. Or we could just take a fucking grenade, attach a goddamn Teddy Ruxpin to it, and throw it in the goddamn woods. And you want to read a bedtime story with me? It picks it up, it puts it in his fucking mouth. Grenade explodes from the inside because it has armor on the outside. Clearly, right? It could just pick it up, put it in its gullet. I'm pretty sure it's probably expandable because it's explained it has armor on the outside. I don't know, am I the only person who didn't fucking think of something like this?
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends? Yeah. I really enjoy talking to people.
Am I fucking crazy? Is that not a probable thing to defeat these fucking monsters? Okay, so I had to get that out of the way. That was my biggest ranting point of the whole movie. I have a few others, but let's just talk about the story. Alright, so apparently these monsters, I guess, have defeated every goddamn fucking government system in the whole goddamn world because they're running rampant, and it looks like this family is the only one that exists. Not unless they're fucking Amish and they live in the woods and they're just tackling this issue on their own. Once again, a Shyamalan type thing, like maybe there's just, you know what, that's a good fucking thing, I just thought of this. Fucking Shyamalan, maybe these monsters aren't even fucking real, maybe they're just people dressing up as it. Anyway, there's no one who was able to tackle these monsters, so I guess they're running rampant, the government can't take care of them, so there's this family who's living, and it looks like they're surviving because their daughter is deaf, so they all know sign language, so they know how to be quiet, they walk around with their shoes off, and that's another point, walking around with your shoes off, I've walked around with my shoes off a lot when I was a kid. I would say walking around with your shoes off would probably make you more sounds than walking around with shoes on. Your shoes might make a little bit more sound when you hit the ground, but if you stepped on a rock or something sharp or a rock or something sticking up out of the ground, you're like, oh, shit, my foot, you know? I mean, that would make fucking sound. There's just so many implausible things in this movie where, I mean, maybe I'm just critiquing it a little bit too much with the dumb shit, but maybe I'm crazy. Call me out if I'm crazy, but it's like, if you were walking around barefooted, you're bound to step on something fucking sharp. Now that brings me to another point in the movie. We'll get to that in a second, but this family, they're surviving, whatnot. They don't know how to defeat these monsters. Now the oldest daughter, she apparently gives the youngest kid in the family a spaceship. He can't take it because it makes sounds, but he ends up taking it with the battery, turns it on, and he gets killed. So I guess the daughter is kind of blamed for that the entire movie. And I think the dad is kind of mad at her about it, but he still loves her, of course. You know, if whatever, I understand from a parent's point of view, I would love my kids no matter what they did. moving on, though, there's just surviving. They're doing their thing. Now the wife is pregnant. She's about to have a baby any day. So that's kind of like, I guess, a heightened point of it. Like, when is it going to happen? So you can kind of, I mean, you can see it coming from a mile away. She's going to have the baby soon, and you see the water break. You just kind of know it just happened at the worst possible time. The dad's away with the son. The girl who's really upset at her dad, he doesn't want to connect with her right now because I guess that's the whole point, that he's mad at her. And she runs away. I guess they all go away at the right time, but she ends up having the baby, delivering it, and the fucking monster attacks right at the right time when she's pregnant. I mean, it was a little bit of a pivotal scene. It was kind of, a little bit edgy to a degree, but at the same time, I'm just like, there's so many other ways to do this shit. There's natural fucking tub births where she could have the birth in the tub underwater. Babies still survive under the water because they're not breathing alive yet. Like, there's other ways to do this. The story, I think, in general, somewhat creative, but I do like the tone that they took where, every time it focused on a character, you heard like their sound point, and when it cut to the daughter, it was like very deafening. When it cut to anybody else, you hear what they heard, and especially like when they were, dancing, trying to be romantic. She put the wife put the headphones in the husband's ears, and they're like, oh, hey, I can hear it. You hear it like go in and get louder. I guess that was somewhat creative, but I don't think that it's that fucking creative. I think that's just like, Now, I gotta say, John Krasinski, I believe that's what his name is. I'm sorry, I really like him. I love The Office. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I have to say, he's doing a lot of stuff lately. But every time I see him, is it just me? But he still is Jim from The Office. All this shit he's doing, all I think is like, it's another fucking prank on Dwight.
I'm just saying that you can't be sure that it wasn't you.
That's ridiculous. Of course it wasn't me.
Marijuana is a memory loss drug, so maybe you just don't remember.
I would remember.
Well, how could you if it just erased your memory?
That's not how it works.
Now, how do you know how it works?
Knock it off. Okay, I'm interviewing you.
No, you said that I'd be conducting the interview when I walked in here. Now, exactly how much pot did you smoke?
And like I said, I really like him as a person. I think he's a really great actor. And by the way, he directed this movie and everything. So, I mean, I'm not like hating on the guy, but I do think that this movie was just kind of stupid to a degree. And I'm really surprised at the great scores and reviews that it's gotten. I'm really baffled at how improbable a lot of the things in this movie are. Now, I'm just pointing out a lot of shit that it really pissed me off about this movie. Now, there was another thing that really pissed me off. The wife, before she's about to have birth, she's carrying some shit from the basement and whatnot. Bag of whatever she's carrying gets caught on a nail. Obviously, it's caught on something. Did you not check to see what it was caught on? I know she was maybe about to go into labor, but like clearly the bag got caught on something on the stairs. You didn't want to investigate that shit? That's kind of stupid. But now, so what happens is while she's pregnant and going into labor, she goes down the stairs and she steps on this nail that's sticking out of the step. To me, the nail in the stairs was the biggest fucking villain in this fucking movie. I was more anticipated about the nail in the stairs than the goddamn creatures, to be honest with you. So after she steps on it, she didn't dispose of the nail, hammer it out, take care of it. People go up and down these stairs like fucking 50 times at the end of this fucking movie, and no one steps on the nail. It's still fucking there. It's still clearly fucking there. Why has no one stepped on this fucking nail yet? She didn't tell anybody of the nail. She didn't do in sign language, hey, the nail is on the fucking stairs. None of that shit. The nail is still on the fucking stairs, but no one fucking steps on it. And people go up and down the stairs like 50 fucking times. Whatever. I mean, it's stupid gripe, but I'm like, even like when they're like showing the people running up and down the stairs from these creatures, you see that nail sticking out of the fucking board with blood still around it. And I'm like, maybe they see the blood, maybe that kind of outlines the nail. But if you're running from a creature, you're not like, oh, there's some blood, let me step around that. Okay, running from the creature again. No, I don't understand how no one else stepped on this nail. Every time someone was going downstairs, like, oh, someone's gonna step on the nail, and no one ever fucking steps on the nail. And every time someone's going upstairs, I was like rooting for the fucking nail to get someone else because I was really mad at these characters. That I thought was pretty stupid. There's no arm, there's no weakness for them. So it turns out the daughter has this like ear, cochlear ear implant thing, not ear implant, but like, she's deaf, so she has to have the hearing aid and whatnot. And it turns out that he keeps making new ones for her, but they don't work. So she still can't hear anything, and she's getting angry and angry at her dad. But she's also starting to feel like he doesn't love her because of what happened, and that he's not like trying hard enough to make her feel, that she can hear, and maybe not, dealing with her problem and what have you. she ends up finding out that her ear device can affect them. It doesn't hurt them, but it hurts their sensor because they have apparently they're blind and they can hear very well. They can hear anything from like a million fucking miles away, etc., etc. Obviously, that's why it's called Quiet Place. They do everything in their fucking power to keep everything fucking quiet. When they come in tune with her ear thing, like it gives feedback where it hurts their ear so bad they run away. When they come in contact with it in the end, where they had the final scene, it turns out that the ear thing is messing with them so bad that like their skin pops back, and I guess that reveals their weakness, which is written on a board in the bottom. It's like, what is the weakness? And the whole time you're like, what is the weakness? So I guess it was like what that weakness thing written on the board. It's a little bit like foreshadowing. It's like, okay, well, now they found the weakness, so the ear implant is messing with it, and it's like all its skin pops off, and the lady finally shoots it with the fucking shotgun and pops its fucking noodle all over the fucking place. All right, fair enough. So now, the mother looks at the daughter looks at the mother like, yeah, now we know how to get him, and it turns out like he's made tons of these things, these ear things, and trying to work out for her. Now that brings me back, like the John Krasinski's character, he ends up sacrificing himself for her and her brother. Like, hey, I've always loved you. He's signing it like, I've always loved you, and then he screams, and the monster gets him because obviously they attack all sound and whatnot. So it's going to show him that he's not upset with her for what her decisions are. He still loves her at the end of the fucking day. And then now she's always had those feelings that she had where her dad didn't love her or whatnot, or erased it. She knew that he loved her from the whole time. But my whole thing is like, he clearly showed that. I mean, clearly he has a lot of shit on his plate. He's trying to take care of a family. He's trying to fucking fix her ear shit. And I felt like the little girl was kind of a cunt. It was like, he's trying to get her earpiece to work, and she's like smacking his hand out of her face while he's trying to put it on. It's like, dude, quit being a fucking cunt. You made a mistake. You clearly made a mistake by giving the kid a toy and having his ass taken away by goddamn Dr. a fucking octopus and fucking taken away into the fucking woods to be eaten. You made a mistake. You were kind of a little bit of a cunt to him. And he's, not being mad at you, but I think that anyone would hold somewhat of a grudge if you made a mistake to get someone killed in your family, especially brother or sister. Different fucking discussion, but my whole point is, I felt that there was no point where he showed that he didn't love her. She was just being kind of a fucking young little teenage cunt. Now, he is doing whatever he can to make the family survive and what have you, and he's done everything. He's researching to try to find out what he can do to have a better life for his family, and it's like, that's not good enough for her. And I feel like that her character just made me kind of hate her a little bit. But she turns out to be the hero because of her, hearing impairedness. So it turns out like the deaf defeat the deaf or what have you. I'm not really quite fucking sure. But her implant thing, she grabs a microphone and she can like amplify it like she's some kind of fucking X-Men or something like that. And that's the thing that really peels the skin back, and the mother shoots it with a shotgun. Now, I will say overall, there were some kind of redeeming qualities about the movie. Some of the scenes were pretty decent, kind of okay. There were some scenes that were like, shit, you done fucked up now. Like those were some decent scenes in there, nothing crazy. But there was a lot of, once again, just scenes where I'm like, why? So it turns out like these monsters don't attack if there's sound around. And that's what got me questioning a lot about the sound. Like there was like, they lit fires. Here's another thing, like someone's bound to fart at some point. Like, I mean, you can fucking hold it in as long as you want to, but it was like, what, 3 months or 4 months in the span of time gap? Someone at some point has to fucking fart, right? Is it just me? I mean, someone's gotta fucking fart. It might be like a little or somebody's gotta fucking fart, right? I mean, what if you gotta burp? What if you fucking sneeze? Someone's bound to do this. How can you be quiet all this fucking time? Those were things that I thought were just stupid and probable, because it's like someone stomped their foot and they're like, oh my God, none of you have sneezed in 3 months. None of you have farted in 3 months. None of you had fucking had any kind of hiccups in 3 months. Seriously? Maybe I need to start doing what they were doing, was like eating fucking vegetables and fish out of the ocean. Maybe that never makes you fart, sneeze, or cough. I don't fucking know. But anyway, I just think there was so many improbable, stupid shit. Now, I will say, just putting all the stupid stuff aside, right? Let's just put all that stupid shit aside. Nothing that really, if you don't use your brain, it's good to a degree. It's got those kind of moments you're like, oh shit. But where it works as a horror film, not so much to me. I think that the entire time, I just felt like there were so many inconsistencies and things that I kept popping up in my head. Like, It's a quiet place. There's gotta be these things that could possibly happen to ruin your quiet place. And maybe that's just me thinking too much, and maybe the average moviegoer would probably be completely content with what they saw. I just, on the other hand, had too many fucking questions that were never answered. And it's not about the stupid shit with the farting and the sneezing and what have you, but so many things of how this monster can't be defeated. I want to know why they're so secluded and how the government can't deal with it or deal with these monsters. I mean, there's newspaper articles. Obviously, this is a fucking phenomenon. The time frame, you don't know what year it is. That doesn't really... I think that's kind of best left unknown, is what year and what era it is. That could probably be left completely alone, and I would be content with it. But I gotta say that just erasing all of the dumb, stupid shit, the probable things that you would think of, and if you just left it on its own, not trying to answer these questions that I'm bringing to the table, is it a good movie? Kind of. I think that it's inventive, especially with the quiet stuff, giving you a perception of how that person hears everything. The monsters are not inventive by any way, shape, or form. To me, it just felt like watching a new age Signs. Signs, that being the M. Night Shyamalan movie with the aliens and stuff. Really stupid things going on. And I will give John Krasinski, it's probably his first bat at a horror movie. Is it the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life? Definitely not. I think it has somewhat redeeming qualities, but nothing that I'm sitting there saying, man, this is a fucking masterpiece. And it's clearly got rave reviews. I mean, it's got a really good score on like Rotten Tomatoes and what have you. And does that really mean anything to me? No, I just feel like I need to point that out, that I don't understand why people are really digging the movie as much as they are. And it could be shame on me, maybe, that I saw that it had such great stellar reviews that I was going in to expect something completely amazing, when I should have just respected what was there. But me being me, there's no way I can just sit there and watch a movie without having questions, especially when there's so many implausible fucking things that happen in the movie. I gotta say, if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it for yourself. Don't let this guide you in the wrong way. I think there's some unique things in there, but I don't think that this is going to stand the test of time. This movie, I think, will be very easily fucking forgotten very quickly. I think it was probably a lot of the media and, commercials and what have you that probably build it up a little bit. And rightfully so. Does it really warrant the things that are going on around it? I don't think so. I think John Krasinski probably just has a fan base because he was on The Office and maybe people flock to it. Could be a little bit of it, not sure. But at the end of the day, I gotta say, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's at Redbox at this point. It's probably a good rental for like $3. Pop some popcorn, watch it, and then that's all I really got on it. But anyway, this is me ranting about this movie a little bit. It's not the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, but I had a lot of problems with it. But anyway, it's Kamikaze Soundwaves. Much obliged for watching, and I will see you in the next one.